And everyone's set too busy indeed. For those of you that have just joined us, I'm Celestial and casting with Economist, the organizer and facilitator of this South African clan tournament.
Skull.
Ryan, how has it been today for you?
Well, admin side, it's been going alright. Games have actually been ending on time. This is the latest starting of the ones actually. And it should be done by 8 still, because I have a feeling that some of these games will be pretty quick, and I'm not really expecting any terribly long macro games. So yeah, on the admin side it's been all running fairly smoothly, and then at 8 o'clock we have the second semi-final of Pawn Stars Anonymous versus XTC.
Okay, very exciting stuff. That Pawn Stars Anonymous is Tiger Lily's team, I believe.
Yes, it is.
Okay, and they beat DNA. Unfortunate, very unfortunate for DNA in the first round. Right. Now, sorry.
I'm the team captain of DNA.
Oh.
For those who don't know.
Yeah, Economist is team captain for DNA. Unfortunately, they lost out. Quite exciting games. Really looking forward to watch those replays. Righto, and Spinks in the green trunks spawning as a Zerg in the 6 o'clock position, while Reaver spawning in the purple trunks as Terran in the 9 o'clock position. They're spawning in the close air positions, and this Overlord will be scouting Reaver's base out. For those of you who still don't know this, the difference between normal Metalopolis and TSL3 Metalopolis is you can't spawn in the close ground positions. For instance, you can't spawn in the 9 o'clock and the 12 o'clock position from each other. And that's pretty much to stop cheesy play or quick play. Tournaments really want to go into macro games, try and get PopCap armies out and see how big the game can get.
And
Spinks moving out for the quick expansion.
A 15 hatch from Spinks, sorry, and I think it's your normal 12 racks from Reaver, and sorry about that, and they're both going to scout each other fairly quickly. I think Spinks might even be able to get into the base as well. Reaver's gas is just finished with only 2 miners. There's the third, where Spinks is going for a 15 hatch, 15 pool, it looks like, and now only taking gas. And sorry for interrupting, but you can carry on, Celestial. Reaver just did not get in.
No problem at all. That's the benefit of co-casting, that you don't have to keep talking the whole time. Right, as Economist just said, normal 12 racks going up for Reaver, as well as the 14 gas and the 15 orbital command. Really standard stuff happening right here, not that exciting. The early hatch going up on Spinks' side, the hatchery actually coming out before the spawning pool. It was a 15 hatch and the spawning pool right after that. And Spinks also has his gas going.
He does, and
right.
It'll be interesting to see what he does with that gas. If he, well, I say that, sorry, but it should be interesting to see what Reaver does with that SCV. I'm half expecting a bunker, but then at the same time we've got a reactor and a factory going down in the Terran's base. Now, for those who don't know, Reaver completely demoralized Slick with some Hellion play in the second game. And he tried the next on Banana Llama, but Banana Llama held it off and got quite a commanding lead, and then fell fairly quickly, actually. And Spinks here going for an early spine crawler, which I don't know if he's aware of how Reaver plays, but I mean, that's the beauty of this tournament. He should be. That's why I make all the replays and VODs available. So this will, I think Spinks is going to be well prepared for this, going for two spine crawlers there at a good position to try and block it off. Got a queen near the ramp if it comes down to it, and the Hellion's only now being started. And scouted as well.
So Spinks scouted at that factory with the reactor on it, and that means only one thing: Hellion's coming out, and he knows about it, sending out Zerglings in all different directions on the map, taking this first and second expansion, natural expansions for Reaver, and he won't be able to expand to that position without Spinks knowing about it. Evolution Chamber now going down on the ramp for Spinks. And if we look at the production tab, Reaver also going into Starport, and this is fairly standard play for Terran. Husky actually dubbing this play as the Destiny Cloud Fist, because 1-1-1 was a bit too boring. Reaver going into another starport. The reason that this build is so effective for Terran players is that you really have the freedom to go into any tech tree that you like. and having to adapt to any style of play that a Zerg or Protoss player could throw at you.
Now Spinks knows these are coming and he's prepared quite well for them. Blocked off the ramp very well. That creep team, it just finishes. And Reaver's going to see that he's just wasted 400 minerals. He's gained map control, but he can't do much else with those. And he's got another one on the way, still building more. Maybe he thinks that Hellions can counter spine crawlers, which if you get enough they can, but I'd be surprised. And also again, going into what he did last time, Reaver likes that Banshee. He goes Hellion harass into Banshee, and here come the Banshees with Cloak. So if Spinks isn't ready for it, and as I say that, he's getting 2 Spore Crawlers, this could be a bad hair day for him.
Right, so Spinks is really prepared for this. He's getting a Spore Crawler in his main base. He's getting a Spore Crawler at his first natural expansion. Those Spine Crawlers being placed very well. First upgrade coming out, the Zerg Ground Carapace for the Zerg player, obviously. And that might be really smart from his side. Reaver walled off quite heavily here, with no expansion to speak of yet. Banshee's now coming out for Reaver, but I suspect what Spinks might go for here is a Baneling Bust, and the Baneling Nest does go up.
And an Infestation Pit at the same time. I think we're going to be seeing some Speedling, Baneling, Infester play. Always pleasant to see, in fact. And that creep team are going down to 1 shot from the... How many is that? 6
from
Hellions?
The Hellions.
6 Hellions.
Yeah, that is 6 Hellions. Well, as what moving out from his base is concerned for Spinks, I think this was not a bad investment for Reaver with the 6 Hellions, although all they can do now is drive up and down on this road. I doubt that's what the road was built for on Metalopolis. It was built for fighting.
I think the biggest problem that Spinks has to worry about is the 4 Banshees that are coming out with Cloak, because even though he has, I say 4, but he's getting 6, and he's got 1 Queen and Spore Crawler at each expansion, and that's not going to cut it. They're going to do quite a lot of damage. And did he just lose? Reaver just lost all his Hellions, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he did. Those Zerglings encountered the Hellions on the creep, and they had nowhere to go. And here's the fight. Oh, taking down the Queen with no effort at all. Those Banshees taking some serious damage, and he's going to go to town on this Baneling Nest and on the mineral line, but he has the detection on him. The Queen trying to take it out. Banshee going down to the Spore Crawler.
And it'll be interesting to see what happens. We've got an Infester coming out way before Pathogen lands, but if it gets Fungal Growth out, it could do something. We've got another Spore Crawler going up. The Baneling Nest is going to die, and looks like he's going for the spawning pool now as well. We've got more Banshees coming in.
Wow.
And this is
quite a bad position for him to be in. He could end the game right here. He has free reign to take out this lair, and if the lair goes down, then Spinks pretty much loses all of that time he bought into teching, going for that early expansion, and these Banelings and Zerglings can't do anything to these Banshees. Banshees actually uncloaking now, and the Spore Crawler moving out, but it will be taken down before it takes root.
Yeah, now they actually increased the root time. It gets 1 shot off before going down. They increased the root time to let it actually help against the Banshee harass. We've got some more Hellions coming in, more Banshees coming in. I'd really like to see more Spine Crawlers going down, Spore Crawlers going down, but the Hellions are coming in now, and they're going to be pretty much unopposed. Sorry, I didn't see all those links. Good surround from them, and they're just going to chase down those Hellions, and that's the end of the Hellions at least, so now it's only 1 problem. But every time a Queen spawns, it dies, so it's a bit of a problem for Spinks there.
Amazing Banshee micro here from Reaver. He's assaulting from all sides. Banshee also doing some damage in the main base. Spore Crawler is going down over there, so unfortunately this Banshee might not make it out alive. But only 4 left now. The 4 Banshees that were harassing the natural expansion and took it down, actually moving up into the main now, and that's quite a formidable force.
Now we've got a scouting Hellion coming all the way around. It's going to come and scout this 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. And Spinks, surprisingly, is droning behind this. He's lost a lot of queens, but Spinks is still doing a lot of damage with... still droning behind this. He's got his lings, who can hurt some Hellions, and he's going to see what he can do about it.
Right, so Reaver's taken the liberty of expanding into his first natural expansion, and he's moved these starports from the tech labs next to the command center and taken them off. And he's actually researching Stimpack now, trying to transition into infantry. Might be somewhat of a mistake, as this infestation pit is already up. Spire going up now for Spinks, but he has pretty much free reign to do with these Banshees whatever he wants. He can fly around and try and get some scouting forces down, but unfortunately Spore Crawlers up in both expansions, so he won't be able to do much except for those Hellions still driving around. These Banshees trying to take down these Zerglings going for the Hellion, but they won't do much. And now Siege Tech.
Got this around.
And that Hellion just driving away at an enormous pace. Siege Tech now going down, and Reaver wants to finish this as soon as possible. He doesn't want Spinks to be able to do anything, keeping the harassment going with these Banshees and researching as much as he can, building up a nice force in front of his base, mostly consisting of Marines. But we will see some higher tech units coming out very soon.
Well, Spinks seems to be going back to the idea of a Baneling bust. He's got 12 Banies going up. No, don't think he has any. He's got 2 Zerglings left. One on the one tower. I don't know where the second Zergling is. Oh, there it is, blocking the third. And if you look here, what Reaver's doing is he's taking 2 quick expansions to try and counteract the fact that he didn't have. That he took his first so late. And here we've got some Banings going in, but Reaver's picked up his units, and the Banshees have come right back, I see. And the Banings are going to be waddling their way all the way home.
Very proper counter for Baneling bust. I've realized before that these siege tanks take out the Banelings quite well. Banelings, for those of you who haven't realized this yet, Banelings have no armor type, so if you have a unit that's favored against light armor, he'll do only his normal damage, and if you have a unit that's favored against armored units, then he'll only do his normal damage. Although these siege tanks, as they are sieged, do 35 damage versus Banelings, and Banelings only have 30 hit points. So
Okay.
siege tanks very taking
And we have
down
a
those
drop going
Banelings.
down in the back. 2 medivacks full of Marines. They're healing up nicely, and he didn't micro those well, and Banelings just ran right into them. And I'd almost say that those were a very good use of Banelings, because only 3 were taken out to kill about 6 Marines. So I mean, it really is a good way, economical way of using Banelings. But at the same time, we've got a lot of siege
I was
tanks,
expecting that word.
and
I was expecting that word. The very economical way of using Banelings.
it happens from time to time. And we've got a lot of Marines and a lot of medivacs and siege tanks moving out to come and put pressure on Spinks, and he just does not have the economy to support this. I might actually be proven wrong, because if he gets 3 good fungal growths on, that could be a very bad day for all those Marines. But I just don't see it happening with 6 Mutalisks, 11 Zerglings, and 9 Banelings, with those Banshees still flying around.
It's very unfortunate for him indeed. 1 infestor now coming out. The pathogen gland research has finished, and if he places that fungal growth really well, it could be detrimental to Reaver's army, but he's in a really good position now. Although he's on the creep, which is not where you want to be when you're fighting a Zerg player, he's got these medivacs to scout the high ground for the siege tanks, so no ranged units will be coming that way. And dropping a siege tank on the high ground now. Reaver expanding freely now, and these Mutalisks coming in, trying to take down the siege tanks, but they don't have much success. Nice micro from Reaver here, picking up the Marines on the low ground and loading them in.
Losing the Queen sadly there. 1 siege tank went down to the loss of a few links, but this could be a lot worse for Nibby than it currently is. Though I see that Reaver does have a drop positioned at the 3rd, just waiting to move up there, and that's going to do quite a bit of damage now as well.
Smart move not to put all your eggs in one basket, and Reaver's actually trying to cover all his bases, stimming the Marines at the 3rd expansion. They're now moving in to right behind the mineral line, and they just want to lay down fire. The medevac goes down to the Spore Crawler, and even while that attack's going on, that might just be to draw the attention away. These Zerglings moving in, taking down the Marines, taking down a siege tank. And this Infestor coming in now for the fungal growth. He gets one down, but it only hits the medevac.
Yeah, not the best use. And those Marines are going to town on the third. His main is under siege, and this doesn't look too good for all those Infestors popping. It's 30 pop to 144, and there are 9 drones versus 55 SCVs. That's the game.
And
GG
Spinks calls the
taps
GG.
out.